Flying for Flavor. I'm your host, Stephanie Piche, and this is a recap of 2018. Now, I didn't want to do a standard recap thing, partly because it's going to be a little bit different. It's almost like we relaunched the podcast again in January of last year. If you've been listening or following along from this time last year, I did the first part solo. So from September's launch until December, it was just me doing this. And as much as I enjoy talking to you, I also thought that I would relax into it a little bit more, have a little bit more fun if I always had other people with me. So sometimes it would be guest interview, but other times it would be just people to sort of co-host with. And I came up with the idea, I made the plan, I did the invites, all in a matter of probably a few weeks, and it just sort of came together perfectly. So let me introduce you to my crew. Cynthia, she is our wedding and event planner extraordinaire. She is my sales and tech guru. She's even dabbled in directing and filmmaking, so she's very good at answering questions and helping me along this little audio and video editing journey that I'm on. Stacy is I call her my flower child. She is a pastry chef. She's a travel agent. She loves traveling solo, which I'm so inspired by. And she can not just calm my soul, but she also can make me laugh like nobody's business. If you haven't heard Stacy's laugh yet, that's a whole other part of the show. And then Deke is our rock star. He is our business guru behind Zare Small Batch Hummus, and he's really rocking the grocery world right now. So I thought it was a good balance to have us all four together. We all kind of knew each other from previous industry overlap, so I thought it was a kind of a good fit to have everybody having their own little piece of things. And since I am the in-house workaholic, I work too much, I eat too much, I drink too much, I love too much, and I wouldn't have it any other way. So that's just kind of how it all sort of rounds out.
Cheese and the ham, but that little finish of the Tabasco
I'm
helps
going to wash it down with some peppermint.
Not really the best match when it comes to pairing.
It's Christmas. There is no pairing rules for this today.
So we had tried a bacon ball locally. We've got it.
Sorry. that pairing was bad. Okay, so we're gonna have to open some bubbles at some point. Oh man. Okay, I found some stats on this website called Vendasta.com. I'm going to put the link in the show notes too. And I pulled out, they had 50 different stats about online reviews. And I didn't list all 50. We're not doing that here today. But I thought there was some that I thought were kind of cool. Because she's going to say, here we go. I'm going to run now. Just kidding. I wouldn't make you sit here listen to 50 stats. Please. Okay. First one. More than 88% of online shoppers incorporate reviews into their purchase decision. Really? Yep. So that's a big one. We can take a drink every time I do a stat. Yeah. Are you playing a drinking game?
It's a new game.
Okay. You're not making this fun.
You're flying for flavor.
Okay.
So we started this podcast, or as a crew, in January. I think it was episode 21. And we were mostly being followed by people here in Ontario, Canada. And I don't like paying attention to stats. I haven't really looked at it throughout the year very often, but I did start looking at it a little bit more, I would say shortly after our beginning of season 2. And I was surprised to notice that we have a lot of listeners in the United States. We have some as far away as Australia. We have some in the UK. We have some in Spain. There's people listening to us from all over. So it really kind of made us change our focus a little bit from being a Northern Ontario-based podcast to a Northern Ontario-based podcast that focuses on not only on how great it is to live where we are and to share it with all of you who like to look at new things and see what we're doing up here in the Great White North, as they call it, but it's also great for me to sort of showcase people who are from this area, what it's like beyond this border. So there's some people who don't get the privilege of traveling as much as I do, and by giving everybody a glimpse at different destinations, different types of food, different types of drinks, I consider those the luxuries of my life, and I know there's a lot of people who put a great value on those things as well. So I thought that was a great way to start this show, and to kind of change the way that this next season kind of went through.
Cynthia to kind of be my my co-host, my work wife, to kind of organize things today because my brain's not on it. I've been in the kitchen for the last few days prepping for Cinefest, which starts tomorrow.
Woohoo!
So aside from getting the all the audio, video, and doing the pre-planning here, aside from that, I just showed up today, which is kind of a nice surprise for me. Anyways, welcome everybody. We're gonna go and do the run-up. Everyone can introduce themselves, starting from the far right.
Hey guys, Deke Zayer here.
Stacey Bonner
Cynthia Saget.
and Stephanie Pichet.
Woo!
Yay.
Well, it's the funny. You guys didn't even like say anything about
Okay,
yourselves.
sorry. Okay. So Deke, why are you here?
That's
Why
how
were
it
you invited to be a
started.
part of this podcast?
Why am I here? Why am I part of the podcast?
Because we made you
Where we
come is
started?
another reason.
Because I was, no.
So if I think back on some of my favorite things in 2018, I would have to say my favorite moments of the episodes and the entire year were the ones that I didn't have planned, which is very hard for me because I'm a planner by nature. So I have to-do lists and more to-do lists, and I have to-do list type software and apps on my phone and iPads, and I have paper lists on a coffee table down in front of the television so I can always write something down. I have reminders lists on my phone that I use not just for things that I have to sort of pop up on my phone to remind me it's time for, but also for things like grocery lists and everything. I live for lists. It also gives me a little bit of a satisfaction when I cross something off. However, I do know that things that aren't planned sometimes just work out even better. So sometimes the best outtakes are the ones that are funny things that we didn't have planned. Sometimes they're so funny I actually left them in. I didn't edit them out because I thought, you know what, that is how we are, and it's raw that way. It shows our personality. It shows some of the silliness and the actual day-to-day stuff that goes on in trying to produce this show. And then there was also other times where, Stacey and I taped an entire episode about suitcases, which was not planned. We had no show notes, we had no outline, we had nothing. We were sitting around drinking wine waiting for Cynthia to join us in the studio that day. And Cynthia was delayed because she's a mom and moms have kids, and that means schedules sometimes get a little wonky. And so Stacey and I were sitting around just drinking wine, and we realized that, okay, as opposed to just sitting here, let's tape a show. And I was venting to her about my big blue suitcase and how it's almost died. Need to start getting another one. I was asking her opinion, and I thought, you know what? I bet you other people are also looking about suitcases. So I just hit record, and there it is. I thought, how cool is that?
So the wheels on the bottom so you can wheel it, and a sturdy handle, because you get some of them with the pull-up handles and the handle is so flimsy it can't actually handle the weight of the suitcase, so you go to turn it or whatever and like it's twisting
Or it doesn't lock in place.
or it doesn't lock in place. Exactly. So
Right?
good
So you go
quality
to
sturdy
put it in a box.
handle.
It's Jack in the Box suitcase. I did that once. I was standing there at the
Trying not to snort.
Norm's talking to the girl at the no, I love your snort. He's talking like to the lady at the check-in gate, and I'm like click 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 exactly a Jack in the Box because I'm trying to get it to lock because I want to put my purse on top and carry on and the damn handle won't go. Click 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 click
I was
click.
I'm waiting for the little clown to come out. Just like, where's the secret compartment?
Because I can't even get it to stay.
When you said, "Hey, let's talk about," because we're both feeling like crap. My jet lag has been out of control, and as well, I came back not fitting into some of the clothes I might have fit into before I left. So it seemed like a really good time to have Dana on the show and to talk about not just the nutritional part of is one side as far as like what we're choosing when we're out and when we're traveling and how we can make those choices. The great example a friend shared with me yesterday, her son is celiac. And so when he goes on school trips, they went on the band trip to like Chicago or New York or something like that. And the challenge was they hit every like drive-through on the way. So of course, when you're in a drive-through situation or a fast food situation, or you're going into some of these restaurants that maybe don't have the healthiest choices, what can we look for as we're traveling, and what can we do with our diet pre and post as well to kind of reset?
So usually I always recommend, because I get this all the time, I run a wellness program with Jen Ricker at Zen Fitness, and we get this all the time. The girls are like starting to learn because it's all education about how to eat. And then it's like, oh, but I have a trip this weekend. What do I do?
Yes.
So I was like, well, just, you have to find balance, right? So I always tell people eat like a rock star beforehand, especially if you know it's like 2 weeks ahead, a month ahead. Eat like perfect. Just eat as well as you can.
See, like eat like a rock star means something different to me. I'm sorry.
I went straight to indulgence. Eat like a rock star. Perfect. Bring on the smorgasbord of everything.
Foie gras for days, baby.
Eat like a nutrition.
It is New Year's Eve morning, and Rory and I are here prepping for our big celebration this evening. No, that's a lie. It's just our family and a couple of close friends because we're kind of peopled out. Are we peopled out, Rory? So Rory and I are here to say Happy New Year and to talk a little bit about the past year and kind of some of our highlights. I think it's safe to say that Rory loved the pumpkin spice episode the best because that's when she made her Flying for Flavor debut. Right, Rory? She's nodding. You'll just have to imagine it. And for those of you who are watching the video, just agree that she nodded. Anyway, so yeah, pumpkin spice episode was a lot of fun because anytime Stephanie and I get to kind of have a little friendly discord or disagree on certain things, it's always a lively kind of debate. In addition to that, anytime we had live guests, so our live shows where we were at, I think this year we're at Finn McCool's and at the Alibi Room, those are an absolute blast because we get to actually interact with people who we may not normally get to interact with. Namely those folks who claim that they're listening to us every week, which we appreciate very much. So the live shows are always a lot of fun. This year just being a year of firsts because it was our first year with co-hosts, our first year of adding video to our podcasts. For me, it's been a lot of learning as well as sharing, and something that was really special for me to share this year was our trip to Australia, because Australia is such a special place to me. And the fact that I got to share it with all of you was super special. I still say it's a bucket list opportunity for anyone who wants to travel and wants to go someplace different. Australia would be the place to be, but it was awesome to be able to share a little bit of our trip and our experiences there as well with all of you. On that note, I'd like to leave everyone with kind of a toast with my favorite pairing of all time. So here I've got my champagne. And I've got my bowl of potato chips. So, I've only got little ones left. Okay, so I'd grab a potato chip and my champagne and say cheers to the end of 2018 and to all the amazing things that we're going to see in 2019. Right, Rory? Cheers.
And then the changes in the audio and video, sometimes we played around with things. I ordered things from Amazon, tech to try out, that didn't work. Other times I was trying to edit audio and video. There's a lot of things you always don't see behind the scenes, which I'm going to try sharing a little bit more of. You know, playing around with camera angles, playing around with filters, playing around with new apps, playing around with color and lighting, because I've never taken courses for any of this stuff, so I'm kind of winging it as I go. But the audio part has always been sort of near and dear to my heart because I am such a podcast fan. Now, when I say podcast fan, there's different genres out there and there's different themes and everyone has their own thing. It started off for me with a love of audiobooks. Some people learn by listening, some people learn by watching, some people need to be hands-on to actually learn something. I am an audio learner. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. I can watch something, but I could probably count the times easily about how I will close my eyes and just listen to something that I need to learn or even just take my eyes off of the video so I'm not distracted. So it's just something that's habit for me. And because I am a bit of a multitasker by nature, I know that's not always the best thing. Everyone tells me it's not. But I have so many things that I want to do and I want to accomplish that I tend to do things double time. So I'm in the car on the way home from Ottawa yesterday, and I am taping, I'm writing down to-do lists and I'm making notes, and I'm transcribing little things that I had made voice notes for. I had taken some interviews that I had done before and I made some notes on that for editing. And then I also had my earphones in so my husband didn't have to disturb it, but a friend of mine hosts a podcast about social media tips, and I needed to up my game for 2019, so I listened to her shows one after another and then made notes on that. By the way, that's the Social Lunch. I'll put a link in the show notes for that as well, just because they're really quick 10-15 minute social media tips, and she's always been a great help and resource to me. So as I'm going along and I'm doing those things, I listen to podcasts. Sometimes I'm downloading them. Sometimes they're just news programs that I didn't get a chance to watch live because I don't sit around and watch TV as much as I used to in my younger days. And I like to keep up with what's going on in the world, and sometimes I get inspiration for future shows. So audiobooks and podcasts are just something that I tend to gravitate towards. And I like things that will teach me something, that I can learn something. Some people like podcasts for the sheer entertainment value. So things like, fictional stories or biographies or comedy type podcasts. I do like them, and I've sort of dabbled around here and there in a few of them, but for the most part, I tend to like the ones that are serving a purpose for me because I want to learn something new. So it's kind of like having an entire millions and millions of audiobooks at all different lengths by all different hosts with all different expertise at my fingertips. So that is what I love podcasts.
Hi, Merry Christmas. Stacy Fauner from Flying for Flavor. I'm wishing everyone a wonderful, healthy, prosperous Merry Christmas with family and friends, food and drink. Cheers to everyone. And I'm going to share with you today a couple of my favorite episodes from 2018. How can I choose? There's so many of them. We had so much fun and interaction with not only our listeners, but our crew. Enjoyed the live shows, Bev at Finn McCool's and Dan at Alibi Room. Wonderful evenings, great shows, great evenings, places to socialize and have fun and experience food, drink, and lifestyle like we all are doing in Flying for Flavor. And looking forward to 2019 and having a wonderful year with all the Flying for Flavor crew and all of you.
No pressure, Natalie. Name something you hope your airline pilot is not doing.
Not paying attention, like reading something.
Reading. Okay, that's a three actions here. So Andy, this is your chance to steal it and win the game, because the last one's worth double the points. No pressure. Yeah. Name something that you hope your airline pilot is not doing. Going to the bathroom. Yes. So they get double the points. They have. So I need.
So this show is just a recap. It is not going to be much about what's happening in 2019. We decided we wanted to wait until we were all in the same room for that. Also because we can kind of share and talk about who's going to do what and all that kind of fun stuff. However, I am going to share one little fun thing for 2019. We are starting, which is already there actually, so you could probably join this right now. We've started a VIP lounge on Facebook. So it is a closed Facebook group only for listeners of this program. So whether you're watching this on YouTube, whether you are listening to it on your podcast player, every single month I'm going to have a different entry code. So that entry code is your special code to get into the VIP members only lounge on Facebook. So if you're looking for it, all you have to look for, maybe just in your search bar, just type in FFF. There are other associations and groups, but you'll easily find FFF VIP Lounge. So that's the Flying for Flavor VIP lounge. And as soon as you apply or request membership, you're automatically going to get a question back asking you for this month's entry code. And for this month, which means it's going to be for January 2019, your code is going to be mobile. And you're probably going to wonder why I'm using that code, but you'll have to stay tuned to the next episode to find out why it's that entry code. But anyways, mobile, MOBILE. So as soon as you type that entry code, I will authorize you as a member, and then you get all this kind of cool stuff. So here's what we got planned so far. We are going to, VIPs get to know first where and when our next live show is. They will also get free first crack at any of the live show tickets before anybody else will. Sometimes we will have early bird discounts for not just live shows, but other events that we're hosting throughout the year. VIPs will always get first dibs on those. We will also give you heads up on where we're going to be taping in 2019. We're not always going to be taping in studio. We're not always going to be taping in my house. We're not always going to be taping in a house, period. We're looking at restaurants and bars and coffee shops and things. Sometimes we're on the road. But we'll always kind of tell you where we're going to be, kind of like a meetup thing, so that if you happen to be in that area and you're a listener and a VIP member, all you have to do is kind of comment or tag saying, hey, I'm going to be in the area at the same time, and by all means, come and have drinks with us. We may or may not have you on the show specifically, but by all means, if you want to sit near the table with us, or in the corner booth or whatever, and just sort of listen to the show as being taped, and maybe stick around and have a drink with us afterwards and tell us what you think and give us some ideas for the show. That's kind of what we're looking for from our VIPs. We're also going to have all kinds of contests and prizes. We're looking at starting a merchandise that are food, drinks, and travel themed merchandise. I've already got some stuff lined up that we will always offer discounts and for sale to our VIP members first. So that's kind of just a glimpse at what's going to happen to the VIP lounge. We will share more about that in the next episode.
Hey guys, this is Deke Zaire, your co-host from Flying for Flavor for the past year. I'm here in beautiful Toronto, Ontario on business representing Zaire's Hummus. That's right, we've done really well in the Sudbury area market. Now we're looking to expand that. So I'm down here on business, and recently it's come to the realization that after a beautiful past year of celebrating on the show with a drink every show, beautiful food and conversations of wine, food, travel, and industry alongside Cynthia, Stacy, and Stephanie. Thank you so much, girls, for everything. I'm going to need to step away to kind of do my own thing. It takes a lot of time and energy, you know, in my personal life as well, for many reasons. I've got to continue on my own path. The girls have a beautiful show coming up for you. They're going to be traveling a lot more, doing a lot of girl stuff and getaways, and kind of going on their own path. And I wish them all the best of luck. I wish you all the best of luck. Thank you very much for tuning in. I guarantee you will hear from me, hopefully after continued success with the company, Zaire's Small Batch, Zaire's Hummus, and hopefully to see you as a guest appearance and to maybe check in once in a while. So thank you very much, everybody, for listening over the past year on Flying for Flavor. This is Deke Zaire signing out. Much love.
So that was kind of I want to say a happy but sad message from Deke. We are so thrilled for him on all of the things that he's working on towards getting his business to the next level in 2019. We know how difficult and how much time and dedication it takes to not just being a part of a podcast, but especially now that we have video plans and live shows and everything else. He's also a dad, and his family is very important to him. So I completely understand about having to prioritize things in your life. So he will always still kind of be there cheering us on. We will be cheering him on from wherever we are. And we're hoping that he'll be able to take some time for us to keep us updates on what Zaire's Small Batch Hummus is going to be up to, where you'll be able to find it next throughout Ontario and beyond. And we may even bring him back as a guest once in a while.
Have all the oils of the crema kind of going on too, right?
So, anyways, you know what I'm thinking, eh?
What are you thinking?
Breakfast.
Right.
It's awful, eh? But
Breakfast
tomorrow
drinks.
morning. So tomorrow morning, I will be editing
Drinking
this
your
episode.
espresso martini.
Drinking the espresso martini.
That's really good. So yeah, that is much
Norm's out
better
of town,
than the one
so
you got.
who's gonna tell, really?
Well, as I laughed, so Mark dropped me off and he's like, so what time am I coming to get you? And I said, well, You know, I'm sure I'll be done before you have to drop Puppy off to dance class. Well, he's going to have to leave shortly to drop Puppy off to dance class. But this is what happens when Steph and I drink and Norm's out of town.
It's usually like Norm's. Let's do this.
Norm's out of town. Where are we going?
And it's not that we don't like having him around.
Not at all, actually. But
no.
we're busy with our families, and
It is, and it's one of those things that I find that ever since we switched to video, do you notice that less and less he's participating in our shows?
Yeah, he would
and
not
it's not
go
the
on
fact
video
that
with
and it's not the fact that he's
us.
shy.
Well, he hosted a show.
I know he's had his own television show, but it's not because I don't know if it's. I think it's just he doesn't. He's nervous about being a part of it, and again, yes, we're drinking and being silly and stuff, right?
I was thinking maybe we should have like some sort of disclaimer on our podcast.
We should have like a bonus episode. We should do like one of those membership versions at some point where you get to see videos and things like that that are not part of it, like we'll do
you mean those outtakes that you share on social media of me when you say, "Oh no, that's not going to go on social media."
No, I don't always.
Then she sends me a picture. Surprise! I want to put this one up. Okay.
So I hope you enjoyed some of the best of 2018. I'm already busy working on plans for 2019. We already have the episode things mapped out for January 2019, including social media stuff, things happening in that VIP lounge. Don't forget, entry code is mobile for this month. And make sure you use that entry code and join before the end of January, because in February, of course, there will be a new entry code. Make sure you subscribe and rate us on any podcast player that you're listening to us on, as well as subscribe and give us some thumbs up on our YouTube channel. We're just getting started with this whole thing. It is all very new to us. So we appreciate your patience and understanding as we kind of learn as we go. As a big group, that's what the whole idea of learning is all about, right? So make sure you follow us on social media channels as well, so that we can kind of communicate throughout the year, and feel free to send us along show ideas, people that you'd like us to interview, recipes you'd like to tackle, or if you have a favorite new cocktail that you think that would be perfect for 2019, we're always all ears. Until next time, cheers and see you in 2019.
What do you think about us podcasters doing this whole video thing? If you like what you see and you still have wine in your glass, there's more videos down below that you can always keep up. Or subscribe and you'll never miss another one.